Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we are going to go over some of my records. So currently I am up at school and I have these records along with some others in a separate box. Here are my other records, well, albums. I also have two boxes of 45s. This is like favorites, kind of 50s, 60s mix, and the red box is just particularly doo-wop. But we are not going to be talking about my albums. No more 45s, we are going to be talking about my shellac singles. So a few weeks ago, I started a 78 collection. It's been really fun so far, and figured since it's such a unique topic, especially with somebody my age collected shellac singles, shellac 78, I figured I would show you guys some of them. So actually back at home, I do have about 10 or 15 78s. They were my great grandmother's, but they aren't really foxtrots. They're more like pre-rock and roll pop classics like K-Star, Patti Page, Rosemary Clooney. You get the gist. However, within the past year, I have been really interested in going back into my doo-wop roots. So in high school, I was obsessed with doo-wop, but I didn't really get too much into it. I only really listened to the hits, but I listened to them on repeat. Even some of my videos from like 4 or 5 years ago are about doo-wop. I even wrote a doo-wop paper in high school, but now I've been fully re-emerged in doo-wop. And this time, I have much greater doo-wop music knowledge. So the reason why I am so much back into doo-wop is because I do a doo-wop show on the college radio. So for 3 hours every Sunday, I play doo-wop music, like doo-wop hits, doo-wop rarities, vocal groups, a cappella groups, doo-wop covers, doo-wop revival groups, different genres covering doo-wop music. So doo-wop has been a really big part of my college experience. And when I look for music to play on my show, I try to go for doo-wop groups I'm not really familiar with to broaden my horizon on the genre. So I've been getting into a lot of early doo-wop, and what I mean by early doo-wop, I'd say maybe 53 to 56, and you got mid-age doo-wop, and then late doo-wop, and then the death of doo-wop. But I can make a whole video on that. But anyways, so a big format on which doo-wop, or at least early doo-wop music was 78 RPMs. So I just started to collect them because I feel like a lot of doo-wop and a lot of rare doo-wop who were never really released on albums or 45s or reissues or originally on 78s. However, the trouble with finding 78s is that they're very sacred. So I called a lot of the record stores around here at UNH, and they unfortunately do not carry 78s. So now I've been going antiquing left and right, and a lot of them also do not carry 78s. If they do, they carry big band, foxtrots, and pre-rock and roll, which is not the stuff I'm looking for. I'm looking for rock and roll, early R&B, and doo-wop. Fortunately, I reached out on Facebook and asked the fellow people of the area, does anybody sell 78 RPMs? And after a good list of people commented, I have some for sale, I found a shop which is 15 minutes from me that sells a good load of 78s. And the guy actually has a lot of 78s, which are doo-wop and rock and roll. A lot of doo-wop I still have not discovered, but I still have a lot of 78s that I got from him, which are rock and roll and doo-wop. So figured I would show you guys my rock and roll and doo-wop 78
So currently I have two record players. I have this 1970s stereo that has an 8-track player, a radio, and obviously a record player which plays 33s, 45s, and 78s. Right now I actually have a record on I was listening to before, Spanking or Gain, their debut album from 1967. So I've been playing that. I also got these wonderful speakers for free, actually, which are retailed like $300 new. These go for around $100 because they're vintage. They're from the 90s. So very cool purchase, or quote-unquote purchase with that. And then I have this bad boy. So this thing, I don't know particularly how old it is. I won it off of eBay. And I'm gonna guess probably like pre-World War II, if the latest World War II era, phonograph. So this thing is all manpower. I do have some needles for it, which I bought online from eBay. And they come in different sizes. I believe these are the medium ones, and then you got the large ones, and then last but not least, you have the small ones. So needles have kind of just all been throughout my dorm. You can tell right there. But yeah, it's very fun. The same plays only 78s. You have to change the needle each time you play a song. And unlike that thing that is full of electricity, this thing you manually have to crank. So it's really fun. I play some of my records on here, and then some of my records on here. And I know I will get backlash for playing 78s on both things. But let me tell you, I don't know. I don't care. If anybody does have suggestions, though, just like don't like slam me, please let me know. So here is my collection of 78s I have here up at school. Most of them are all from the same place. One is from another antique store, and then one I actually bought online. But yeah, figured I would show you some of them. And now I will be playing some. I'll be playing some on the stereo and some on the phonograph. But I won't be playing all because this video will be about 5,000 hours long. So the first one I have is what my 8th grade music teachers called the very first rock and roll song. Obviously this is not the case. There's many rock and roll songs before this song, but many people say this is the first rock and roll song. So this is Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley and its comments on the Decca label, with the B-side being 13 Women. The next one is actually a jukebox record. I bought this one online. Now, I previously bought another 70 on eBay and it came smashed. So I was a little skeptical buying this one, but thankfully it arrived in one piece. So this is I'm Into Something Good for Earl Jean, and then the B-side is Carole King with It Might As Well Rain Until September. Going forward, we got some New Haven, Connecticut doo-wop from my home state. We got Story Untold, Button of Nutmegs, a very great doo-wop standard in my opinion. And then we got Make Me Lose My Mind. So there it is. Next one's probably one of the most iconic. I do not have a sleeve for it, so I'm going to try not to smudge my fingerprints on here. The Great Pretender by the Platters, perhaps one of the greatest doo-wop records there is of all time. And the B-side is I'm Just a Dancing Partner. Now this one is a very interesting one. I will probably say, just from my own opinion, is that this is probably if not the most famous doo-wop song in my opinion, Earth Angel by the Penguins, with the B-side being Hey Senorita. Now, fun fact about this is it'll probably take me a second, but I actually have the original 45. So this is my 45 of Earth Angel. This is actually also from 1954, and I want to say this is in probably my top 3 cleanest sounding vinyl I have. Now, the fun fact of where I got this 45 from is actually from somebody at work. So I have, beforehand, I used to have a little bit, but now I have all these record tattoos. So I had this record tattoo, and I wear classic rock t-shirts. So some customer comes in, and he's like, wow, I really appreciate you liking records at such a young age. I have actually all these 45s I'm looking to sell. I'll give them to you at $100, a couple hundred records. I'm like, okay, cool. It was more like 1,000 records that he gave me. I ended up selling a bunch and making a profit, but one of the records I did keep is Earth Angel. And I'm very glad that I kept this record. And he also gave me a bunch of other doo-wop 45s, hence why there's so much 45s in that doo-wop box. So it's cool to have both the 45 and the 78 of probably perhaps the most famous iconic doo-wop song there is. Now going forward, we got the 16s with a casual look, with the flip side being Teenage Promise. Obviously, typical teenage doo-wop, very great. Now, this one's very interesting. So this one is an early doo-wop single from 1953. And notice how they spelled the name. They spelled the harp tones with an H-A-R-P space T-O-N-E-S. And this is just interesting because I actually have, as we continue this video, another 78 by the harp tones, but they spelled the harp tones with just the harp tones, no dash in the middle. So this is a Sunday Kind of Love, which I kind of find very ironic because my show for my radio station is on Sundays, and so many doo-wop groups covered this song, so
I start my show off each time with a Sunday Kind of Love. So this is a Sunday Kind of Love by the Harptones, with the B-side with I'll Never Tell. So very interesting early doo-wop. Now this one is not doo-wop. This one is 16 Tons by Tennessee Ernie Ford, with the B-side being You Don't Have to Be a Baby to Cry. Now this one is the other Harptones record I have. So this is from 55. Obviously, this is used in Goodfellas, so all the mafia movies use all the doo-wop songs. So this is Life is But a Dream by the Harptones, and notice how they just spell the Harptones like that. And then the B-side is You Know You've Done Me Wrong. Alright, this one's a great one. Probably one of the most iconic doo-wop songs. You'll probably hear me saying that a lot. But this is Goodnight Sweetheart, Goodnight by the Spaniels, with B-side of You Don't Move Me. Now this one's great. I actually have the 45 back at home, but I'm not at home, so I don't have it on me. But I do have the 78 of Elvis Presley's Jailhouse Rock. And the B-side is Treat Me Nice, but obviously you can see somebody colored it, so not too bad, or not too good, but it still plays relatively well. Now this one's fun. So when I first went to the record store, or the antique store that sells the 78s, I saw this one, and I regretted not getting it, so I went back, and sure enough, it was still there, so I snatched it. Probably my nicest condition 78 I have. It's the Eagles, not the Eagles that sing Tequila Sunrise, but it's the Eagles with Trying to Get to You and Please Please. Now, Trying to Get to You, so many people covered it, but the Eagles were originally the first group to do it. Elvis covered it, and the Animals covered it in 1983, so very interesting stuff. Yeah, the Animals covering doo-wop, who would have imagined? Now this one is the Ravens, early doo-wop here. We're talking pre-55 with Leave My Girl Gal Alone, and then we got Deep Purple. Very fun bird group, if you know what I mean. So many doo-wop groups were named after birds. And here's another one. We got the Robins with Framed, and the B-side being Loop De Loop Mambo. Now this one, another bird group, we got Stranded in the Jungle, which I don't know if the Jayhawks originally done it or the Cadets, so I'll have to double check on that because they're both the same song. And the B-side is My Only Darling. Now we have a animal group, but not a bird group. We have Witchcraft by the Spiders, with the B-side, which me not trying to smudge it, is It True? The Spiders are actually a pretty good early doo-wop. That, I believe, is from 54. Now, this is the oddball one. So this one, I went to an antique store, and I was explaining to this guy I was getting a phonograph, and I don't have any 78s. And he's like, well, you could take some home for free. I won't charge you. And a lot of them were foxtrots and big band. So I didn't take any but this one. So I went up to the counter. I'm like, can I take this one home? He's like, yeah, sure. So very happy that he gave me this one. So this is Old Man River with Stormy Weather. Now this is actually much bigger than the 10-inch. So this is 10 inches and this is 12 inches. So this is a bigger 45 or 78, and it's a longer song. A lot of these doo-wop songs are like under like 3 minutes. This is like a 4.5 minute song, so very big. And I don't know if older 78s were bigger. I think they were. So this is like 42, and that was like 54. So this is my Frank Sinatra record. All right, now this one's probably my top 3. So if you don't know me, I really like the Four Seasons. I mean, like, so many of my videos on here are of the Four Seasons. So when I found this one, I was beyond myself. So this is You're the Apple of My Eye, with the B-side being The Girl in My Dreams by the Four Lovers. So this, I don't know, just to have a Frankie Valli record on the 78 is something I would never think I would say. But here I am holding a piece of rock and roll history. The next one's more kind of barbershop quartet, not really doo-wop. We got Open Your Heart and Let the Sunshine In, with the B-side being Doodle Dee by the Lancers. Now, we got the Four Pals with I Flipped, The B-side is If I Can't Have the One I Love. Very interesting. And then I have the Monarchs with Pretty Little Girl and In My Younger Days. So this is all my doo-wop, R&B, whatever you can call it, all right here. So I'm very excited that I do have 78s. But yeah. So unlike That Thing, you have to change the needle each time you listen to a song. And it's kind of difficult putting the needle on, but eventually I did put a new needle on. So I believe this is a medium-sized needle. So we're going to be playing Pretty Little Girl by the Monarchs. Alright, so to start this scene off, you obviously got the handle, and you gotta crank this thing for a good like 10 or 15 seconds, because if you only crank it for a couple times, it stops halfway throughout the song, and it sounds really bad. So you kind of just want to like crank it until you feel a little bit of tension. So eventually it'll get more difficult to crank it. And then, like, right now, you can't really crank it. So now it's up to speed. And it is on the 78 RPM setting. So all you gotta do is drop it down. And get the sweet sounds of doo-wop. Now, obviously not as good as this, but you get the gist. You also can't control the volume. So, fun times. Alright, this one is The Four Lovers. And this one is the Nutmegs. Obviously all electric. So what I like to do is switch it to 10, obviously switch it from 33 up to 78, and make sure that is down, and then just hit auto, and basically let the record player do it itself.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Right, go.
The last one I'll do is Please Please by the Eagles.
Baby, give me some hugging, please, please. Baby, give me some hugging, please, please. Baby, give me some hugging, please, please. Please hug me good and tight. Baby, give me some squeezing, squeeze, please. Baby, give me some squeezing, please.
So yeah, that was just a little bit of my 78s, and I'm definitely going to be collecting some more. So I may make some videos on the future on that. But I definitely do make more videos on TikTok, so if you want to follow my TikTok, the link will be in the description. However, I'll be trying to make more videos of this thing and that thing, and more videos here on YouTube specifically. So if you want to follow for some more record fun, hit that subscribe button, or comment below of what kind of videos you want me to see in the future, because I feel like I have so much to say now. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this little haul I have.